Hello, Biology 245. I have another video for you, and it's going to be muscles of the head and the neck. So you'll notice that your list is not quite as big as the rest of the list for your muscles. So don't be sad, don't despair. It's not so bad, okay? And like I said, if you know all your regions, then you know a lot of the names already, so that's pretty cool. All right, so let's get started here. Let's start off with the easy one where we talk about the frontal region. We're talking about the forehead. So this muscle right here that goes up and across the back of the forehead is called the frontal belly of the occipitofrontalis. So occipitofrontalis, just because here's our frontal belly. Whenever you see the word belly, it's usually just indicating the actual contractile part of the muscle. So here's the contractile part indicated in red. If you look over the top of the head, you'll see it's white, indicating connective tissue. In this case, dense, regular connective tissue, right? It's called the aponeurosis, but you don't need to know that. And then there would be the other belly, the occipital belly, but you don't need to know the occipital belly. I just want to explain to you why it's called the frontal belly and why it's called the occipitofrontalis. So it's the occipitofrontalis because it goes from the frontal region to the occipital region, and it's the frontal belly because it is literally the contractile part in the frontal region. It's that easy, okay? Moving on to another regional one, actually a bone one. So if you remember your skull really well, you'll also know these muscles really well. So here's our zygomatic bone, or your cheekbone, right? So that's the place where the zygomaticus starts. So here's our zygomaticus. You'll see it goes from the cheekbone and the zygomatic all the way down to the corner of the mouth. Zygomatic. And if you look in other sources, you might notice that there's the zygomaticus major and the zygomaticus minor. You don't got to worry about that. All you got to know is the zygomaticus. Life is great. Okay? Okay, what's another one that's regional? This one's a little bit hard to see and it doesn't show so well in here, but another regional one, so if you guys remember the buccal region, your cheek, right? I believe that was on the practice practical in class, but you'll see that deep, it's very deep. If you isolate out the buccinator so that you can't see anything else, it's like really creepy. You see like the open jaw and then you just see like the muscle going across like this, so the grain goes this direction. But anyway, so it's this deep muscle here in the cheek, right where I have my probe. And again, the grain goes this direction. You do need to know functions for these muscles, so very quickly, for our frontal belly of the occipitofrontalis, you just raise your eyebrows. And remember, whenever we have a function of the muscle, it's what happens when that muscle shortens. So whenever that muscle shortens, it acts like a pulley and pulls on something else. In this case, it's pulling on skin, so when it shortens, it raises your eyebrows. For the zygomaticus, since it's hard bone here and it's attached to soft flesh here, so the corner of your mouth, when that muscle shortens, you smile, right? It brings that corner of the mouth closer to your zygomatic bone, just like that. Okay, so it shortens, and that's how it works. Next, you have the buccinator. That function, since it's deep, what it's doing is flattening the inside of your cheeks to your teeth. So when you contract it, it kind of makes a funny face, but when you contract your buccinator, you're going like, yeah, and you're compressing the inside of your cheeks to your teeth. This helps with keeping food where you want it, around your tongue, right? Okie doke. So the other regional one is going to be this guy that usually surrounds the entire mouth, but it forms a circle around your lips. This is called the Orbicularis oris. So if you remember your oral region, oris is for the oral region, orbicularis just because it's round. And if you activate this muscle and it contracts, it just puckers your lips. So it's a kissing muscle, okay? Another one that sounds similar is going to be the orbicularis oculi. So the orbicularis oculi, and you can see it's a round muscle yet again. These muscles, whenever they're round, they basically just act like a sphincter. So for your lips. For your eye, when it contracts, it just squishes your eye closed, okay? So it just like the whole muscle comes in on itself and it closes your eye, okay? Some people say winking, I guess, if that's what makes you happy, but it closes your eye. That's the main thing you gotta know, okay? Next, we have the levator labii superioris. So let's break this down before I show it to you, okay? Levator, like an elevator, so it's going up, so it's raising something. Labii means lip. So if you ever hear labia, labii, whatever, it means lips, okay? And superioris, it's superior. So it's superior to the lips. In this case, it's a little bit cut, so you can't see the whole thing, but starting up here around the nose, you have this long muscle that comes down and it attaches to the top of your lips. Usually if we indicate the levator labii superioris on this particular model, we're just going to put a sticker around in this region because it's a little more clear where you can see it. But usually if you look at most pictures, it kind of runs along the side of the nose and then attaches. So when this muscle is activated and it contracts, it looks like this. So it's like sneering or Napoleon Dynamite.
Billy Idol muscle.
Yeah, Billy Idol muscle. There you go. You can sneer at people. Okay? Or the Napoleon Dynamite muscle. So, however you want to say. But that's what that is. So levator labii superioris, not only is it indicating where it is because it's superior to the lip, but it's also indicating the action, and it's elevating the upper lip. Okay? Related to that, we have the depressor anguli oris. The depressor, you can imagine it's depressing your lip. Anguli, doing it at an angle. Oris, again associated with the mouth. So, for the depressor anguli oris, it's going to be this guy right here, and he's attaching to the mouth. Oh, sorry. I can see it, you can't. This guy right here, see that? And he's attaching to the mouth. And when you activate that depressor anguli oris, it makes you look sad. Okay, so it's depressing the lower lip. Moving on, we have this other muscle that is cut out, darn it. It's kind of covered by a salivary gland here. But you have this other muscle called the masseter, so that's M-A-S-S-E-T-E-R, but I always pronounce it like mass eater, so I remember what it does. The masseter kind of comes up here underneath the zygomatic bone and attaches to the bottom of the jaw. So when it contracts, it actually pulls the jaw up. Okay, so it helps you with eating. It depresses or elevates the jaw. It elevates the jaw. Okay, so that's going to be your masseter. Kind of related to that, also attached ultimately to your jaw. Unfortunately, the jaw is cut away here so you can't see. But along the temporal bone, you have the temporalis. So the temporalis. So it's a deeper structure. It's difficult to see unless you start peeling stuff off. But the temporalis comes down and it actually attaches to your mandible. So whenever it contracts, it's also aiding with chewing. And I don't know if you can see on me. Yeah, you can see. When you chew pretty hard, it actually like flexes. You can kind of see it. You might see that when you're watching football games and they're like have the big headphones on and they're chewing gum. It goes like, their headphones go like this. That's because their temporalis is being activated. Okay, so I believe I've gotten most of the face and head. Moving on to the neck, we have this sheet of muscle that's referred to as the platysma. It is a very superficial muscle. So the platysma starts at the lower jaw and it comes down along the neck and kind of covers the outside. Now this is the only model really that has a platysma on it, and it just looks like a really pretty sheet. Since it is really superficial, it actually attaches to skin. Like, I have a really unfortunate habit of activating my platysma a lot, so whenever I'm being emphatic, usually I'm activating my platysma, and it looks like that. When you activate your platysma, it activates like that. And it actually depresses the skin below your lips. So if I activate my platysma only, you see it like depresses my mouth, my lower mouth, okay? The other thing in your neck that you need to worry about, so you don't got to worry about any of this other internal stuff, you're fine. You can't really see it on this particular one, but thankfully Anna has gotten me another model. There you go. So the other muscle in your neck that you need to worry about is the sternocleidomastoid. And again, if you know all your muscles of your skeleton, life is great. Because remember, your mastoid process is behind your ear. Sterno for sternum, so it would be down here somewhere. And cleido for clavicle. So the sternocleidomastoid is this guy right here. And his action is he helps with turning your head. Okay? So specifically pulling it down. I don't think you can really see mine because like I got too much adipose tissue to see it. But if you turn your head, usually your sternocleidomastoid will stick out real nice and strong. So I think it might be popping out a little bit. But anyway, that is going to be its function. So
the platysma on this one.
Yeah, I already showed them platysma, so life is great. Oh, here you can actually see the levator labii superioris really nicely. So you can see it's starting up here at the nose and going down to the top of the lip there. And then our depressor anguli oris. Life is good. And the buccinator you can see really well deep right there.
And the creepy side.
The creepy side. Oh, yeah, there you go. Here you can see that buccinator really well, that deep structure. Okay. Alright, so we've gone through all of the muscles of the head and neck, and we've covered their functions and why they're named the way they're named. So hopefully that'll help you guys out.